with humility. So it's like haven't been able to be in a live session yet. I gotta use the gavel one. So I'm calling this meeting to order. Oh, that's fun. Okay, so welcome to our first meeting face to face and our first meeting of the 22-23 academic year. I'm Audrey Korsgaard, your Faculty Senate Chair. And I know we have a little queue here to sign up. I apologize for that. Next time we'll have 2 sign-up sheets and we'll have them outside. Yeah, so that's part of going back to face as we do these old analog things like paper and pencil and raising hands or standing up. And hopefully you heard our parliamentarian Bill Suddeth's brief description of how the meeting goes when we're face to face. You can raise your hand or stand up just like they do in the British parliamentary. The rest of you are sitting down after they say what they say. You can go, yeah, yeah, yeah. The one thing I do ask you to do is to go to one of the 2 microphones and announce yourself. We do have senators who are in the Palmetto College system, so they don't attend in person. So in order for them to hear what's going on, we need to have you go to the microphones. Also, we do record our meetings so that people can go back and look at them and we can get the minutes right. So it's, again, very important that you go to one of the mics. And of course, please say your name. So I think so the agenda is up there. It's a little bit small, but you should be able to get the agenda, consult the agenda from your own devices, or you might have printed it out. So our first order of business is corrections to an approval of the minutes. And Senator Marco, how do you say your last name? Belchorda has already made some corrections to the minutes. So we have a few corrections. These are mainly typographical or Scrivener errors, like misspelling one of our senators' names. I apologize for that. A few other minor errors of that nature. So any other corrections to the minutes? Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes? Second, okay. And hearing no objections, the minutes are approved. The second item on the agenda is the election of our chair-elect. If you recall, last spring, we had some difficulty filling many of our positions of leadership within the Faculty Senate, and that included the Senate chair. We do have a candidate, Wayne Outen, who is graciously volunteered to become chair-elect. You want to say a word or two?
Thank you, Audrey. My name is Wayne Outen from the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry and Arts and Sciences. I probably have met or know many of you through being a faculty senator, working on the UCTP and other committees. I was very honored that Audrey asked me to consider running for chair-elect, and I'm looking forward to working with her and hopefully turning some of the challenges that we face into opportunities, perhaps. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But it's great to be here.
That's an introduction of Wayne. He's actually not being elected today. We have to wait till the October meeting. I'm sorry, I got my signals crossed on that one. So now you know, Wayne, and we'll hold that election at our next meeting. What did I do? To a link. Okay, thank you. All right, so we have one invited guest today, and that is our president of the Graduate Student Council, Maxwell Akonde. Would like to come up?
Thank you so much, and I'm really very privileged to have the opportunity to say a few words. I bring you greetings from the Executive Board and the Cabinet of the Graduate Student Association. I am Maxwell Akonde. I am serving as the president for this year. I would say that we are incredibly thankful for the Faculty Senate. In the past, we have had a lot of great support from this august house, and I think that I'll be doing a great disservice to graduates and professional students if I do not thank you and to say that we appreciate in the past years the resolution that supported the full health insurance coverage for graduate students. I think that was a big headache for us as graduate students, not knowing where to get money from to be able to support our health insurance. And it took resolution from you all here to be able to provide us that support. The other thing I wanted to mention is your support for increase in the hourly wages for graduate students. And we are grateful for that and looking forward to the implementation. However, my main mission here is to talk about a mentorship program that the Graduate Student Association is rolling out. In the course of last year, we implemented a mentorship event that was targeted at sort of empowering graduates and professional students who are women, sort of connecting them to faculty, staff, and administrators who are women so that they can learn from their journey. And this year, again, we will be continuing with that mentorship event. Thank you to all those who supported us last year, and we are looking forward to having you on board as mentors. However, this year we are sort of enlarging or increasing the mentorship launchings to include other groups. And so this year we'll be having Black graduate and professional student mentorship program, and we would like to have a lot of you who identify as Black to sort of come on board to mentor our Black graduate and professional students, to offer them that platform to be able to engage with you and to identify with your path. The other mentorship program that we'll be having this year will be the one for international students. So if you migrated here from another country and want to share your life experience or your journey with an international graduate or professional student, this will be an opportunity for you to be able to get involved and help us support graduate students through that mentorship event. The last one will be for LGBTQ graduate and professional students that we would want to be able to connect our LGBTQ professional and graduate students to faculty who identify with them to be able to provide them some insight about their journey. So be on the lookout for these programs. So typically we would send out through our newsletters about how you can be involved. We will appreciate your support to sort of share, as senators, to share with other faculty in your department, in your schools and colleges, and to encourage them to sign up to be mentors to support our graduate and professional students. Once again, thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
You, Maxwell. I participated in the mentoring program last year, which was really neat. That was for women and professional and graduate programs. One of the things that we did was just have like kind of lunch and learns. You're going to be doing that for these other groups as well? Yeah. Great, because I do think that we had men at our lunch and learns, and I think it's really valuable for us as faculty to participate, not necessarily as a mentor, but just as a participant in some of these lunch and learns with students that we might say, well, I can't mentor an international student. I grew up in the United States, but it's very useful for me to go to a lunch and learn with international students and learn more about their challenges and their perspectives. So I encourage you to, even if you don't want to be a mentor, to participate on another level in these programs. I think they're really great. So thank you, Maxwell. And I look forward to working with you this year. All right, our next order of business is reports from the officers. The president could not be here today, so we will not have a report from him, but we do have Provost Arnett, so I'll hand over the mic to you.
Well, thank you for inviting me today, and it's such an honor and privilege to be here today. And I look forward to hopefully another 10 years of working together collectively with you. Since I've started on August 1st, I'm now in my 7th week. My priority has been to listen. I really want to learn the campus of the University of South Carolina, to learn what your priorities are, where you want to invest as faculty, and where I as provost can work with you to grow that investment. I don't have all the answers. People have asked me for a vision. I don't yet have a vision, but I want to be purposeful about learning about this community and what is special about this community. And that means talking and engaging with faculty, staff, and students so that we collectively can create a vision that moves us forward. And hopefully the president and I will be both doing these listening tours. That has been the focus. I have begun, and he is doing it as well. He usually goes in first and I come in after. And the purpose of that is really to get to know your individual units. I'm purposely doing these in small groups with 50 or fewer faculty and staff. And I've already said, I really want to use this to learn how we can inform a vision together, because all of us are smarter than any one of us. So I've already visited libraries, pharmacy, hospitality, retail, and sports management, social work, nursing, and the College of Information and Communications. So I've probably spoken with some of you there already, so I'm not going to repeat all of the spiel that I give when I'm there. But I do want to say I've already discovered something really unique about USC. And that is the faculty, they complain. That's not unique. You know, faculty always complain. I've been in 4 institutions. But you guys, even with your complaints, you really love being here and being part of this faculty. You know, at every place I've been, people say, we love our colleagues. It's a great place to be. They may not all use the love word, but they all comment. Every group has commented on that. And for that, you should be really proud of, because you don't hear that everywhere. So my conversations are very honest. I'm asking for transparency. There are no administrators that are present in the room, so people have the freedom to speak honestly and with freedom. So I've heard visions of where we need to go and where we need to add help and support. And so I want to continue on. So I have 10 more colleges to go. And I really look forward to meeting all of you in your colleges. A short-term goal that I'm starting actually Monday morning at 8 a.m. is something called a stand-up meeting. I know communication is really hard, and I'm trying to create vertical integration of information so that all of you can hear from the provost the priorities of what's going on. They're going to be quick and short with one focused agenda item, 15 minutes. The first next week's agenda will be going out by Friday morning. And the agenda of this week, just to give you a heads up, is all about colleges being able to take over USC's webpage for the day. They get to talk about who they are, their programs, you know, bragging rights for the day. And so Larry Thomas, the head of communications, is going to come in and give you nuts and bolts of why that's important. So the invitations for that meeting are deans, chairs, associate deans, assistant deans, directors. If people on the Senate want to be part of that, you know, it's great. We want you there. We want to get out information that's valuable and relevant. We're always going to end with some shout out to some program or college that's doing something great that's been in the news. I have Abe here, my communications director, and he's really talented. He's the guy waving in the back. Abe is collecting these stories because we really have great stories to tell at USC, and I'm discovering them. And we want to get them out so that you know those stories as well. So I'm also going through my own onboarding process. With you guys kind of realize we've kind of changed over administration. So a lot of us are new. So I'm going through my own faculty orientation with the other vice presidents. So I'm here today to really hear what your thoughts are, your concerns are as faculty senators. I've already started working with the faculty committee on faculty welfare. For those of you who got to come to the Provost Council or have heard me in one of the listening tours, I really am passionate about building faculty resilience and well-being. And I want to create something really innovative. You know, USC is known for this great program, you know, the first year experience. Why can't we have a first year experience for faculty that is best in class and makes us sort of the go-to place for learning how to build faculty resilience and well-being? That's my goal and my hope. And it's probably going to be different for every faculty. It's as I've learned from being a chair and a dean, everyone has their own unique ways of bringing purpose and joy. So we have to find those and build programs that support that. So I've said in my listening tours, I've heard a few chuckles. I really want us to infuse joy, whatever that word means to you, whether it's purpose. You know, we are here in higher education for a reason. We're not out in industry. We're here because of a love for generating knowledge, sharing knowledge, teaching our students. And I really hope in this post-COVID world that we can find that joy again, or that purpose, and enjoy coming to work every day. So finally, around things that I'm going to be doing, you know, the president, you may have heard, had an event this past weekend for undergraduate students called Imagine Carolina. So Huron is a consulting group that came in and led that. Really, he wanted to hear from students, what's going great, what can we do better, what's the campus climate like, you know, everything from academics to internet service. And so I want to do that same kind of thing for faculty, and the president's on board with doing that as well. So we're still working out the nuts and bolts of how that will happen, but it will be called Imagine Carolina for faculty. So be looking forward to that. I hope to have that launch in January or February. So other parts of my day job are all about hiring deans. So just want to give you some brief updates about dean searches. Last week, we started the continuation of the search for HRSM. So we've re-engaged the academic search, who is our partner in that search. And the timeline for that search is still being developed. The Darla Moore School of Business is underway. That search began in August. It's being co-chaired by Dr. Haj Harari and Tony Torres McGee. And that search website has been updated with the search committee members, and the profile is now being distributed amongst that committee. In education, we've had 4 finalists visiting the campus. The last one is here today and tomorrow. So we hope to wrap that search up soon. The graduate school, Cheryl Addy, who's here today, Cheryl, the vice provost, has agreed to take leadership of that, and we will be launching that search soon as well. I'm happy to report that University Libraries, we have concluded that search, and we have a new dean, Dave Banush. He is the current dean of the University of Tulane, Tulane University, and he's been there 7 years as a sitting dean. We're really excited about bringing him on board. So one best practice that I've started in terms of the searches for deans is every search is co-chaired by a nominee from our Council on Academic Diversity Officers, so that we can try to build representation of candidates and hopefully deans who are from diverse groups. Just one other, few other little updates. They're not little because our office did a humongous amount of work for this, but we had Dr. Jennifer Eberhardt here at campus yesterday. The first year reading experience was a book called Biased, a very thoughtful research-based book on how implicit bias originates and what we can do to help address it. And so for first time ever, she also met with faculty in small groups. And I heard that was really a great And just a shout out to Dr. Sandra Kelly and Shakira Hogan and my office's team, as well as Julian and the Office of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion for making that happen. We also have some great news in terms of U.S. News and World Report rankings. Our international business program retained its #1 ranking for the 24th year. We were the #1 public institution again in our first year student experience category, and that's really a lot due to the University 101 program. Another facet of not classroom experience, but student experiences, our living learning communities were ranked as #6 among the nation's public universities. Undergraduate business moved up to 26 among public universities. We also saw increases in our nursing program, now 37th, computer science, now 56, and inclusion in the best colleges for veterans, best value school, and social mobility categories. So all that is really great news. We're also ranked #1 by for veterans by Military Times. So it really shows our commitment to excellence, and I hope that we even grow that further. Finally, we have nominations open for the 2023 MLK Social Justice Awards. These are for a USC student, faculty, or staff member who embodies the ideals of racial equity, inclusivity, and social justice and community service by Reverend Martin Luther King. Those nominations are due on October 14th. So Audrey, that concludes my report. And do I take questions now? Okay. And I believe the parliamentarian wants you to go to the microphones.
I'm Marco Valtorta, Computer Science and Engineering. I want to thank you for meeting with the Faculty Welfare Committee early on. This is a very good sign. At the General Faculty meeting, there are questions about access to the Blatt PE Center. This is an issue that has been brought up several times in various places, and I know the Faculty Welfare Committee has looked into this. So just wanted to remind you of that, the importance of having this facility available to all of us. My understanding, the most recent update is that the hours of the opening hours for the Blatt have been severely curtailed recently. So this is on top of the fact that now we have to pay for access. Thank you.
Thank you. I plan to check into the cost of operating that center and seeing if we can at least get the dues at cost. So I haven't even started to broach that subject, but I do plan to be investigating it because I've heard it now, I think the 5th time.
Apos Tavakkoli with College of Nursing. I'm going to bring, because you mentioned wellness, I know you're passionate about wellness, our faculty and staff. The other thing is our access to health center, especially for mental health, because I know they added, and I know we can get counseling, faculty and staff can get counseling through outside. But we can, if we have a setup with our health center, would be more convenient. And the other thing is, still health center does not accept our Blue Cross insurance, which they accept part of the tests we do, part of it not. So that confuses a lot of faculty staff when they go do their free annual blood work. Part of it is free, part of it is not. So I know the welfare looking at that and they are working, but it's been for a long time. I don't understand why the process take such long. So I would just want to bring to your attention for that too.
Okay, thank you. Well, I look forward to more conversations in your colleges, and always feel free to reach out to me. And Abe, my communications director, he's on it all the time. And so we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Provost Arnett. So next on our agenda are reports from the faculty committees, and we just have one, and that's from the Committee on Curricula and Courses. Professor Hawk.
Thank you, Audrey. The Faculty Senate Committee on Curricula and Courses had its first meeting on August 17th this year, right after school started, the faculty reporting date, even before classes even started, and discussed a number of the proposals that were submitted through the new KIM system over the summer. And so as a result, the Faculty Senate Committee on Curricula and Courses moves to approve a total of 45 proposals, 13 from the College of Arts and Sciences, 1 from business, 4 from education, 18 from engineering and computing, 5 from hospitality, retail, and sport management, 2 from information and communication, 1 from the School of Pharmacy, and 1 from public health.
This is a report from the committee. No second or no motion is necessary, so entertain questions.
Hi, Marco Valtorta, Department of Computer Science and Engineering. First, I would like to thank the committee, the provost office, and everybody else who helped to get access to senators, for senators to the new apps system. It is useful to see the details of the courses. A couple of items of detail. There are 2 courses for which the comments indicate that a hold has been placed for approval. One is Religion 552, and the other one is EMCH EMCH 551. Looking at the full entry in apps, it appears that around the 10th of August for both courses, the conclusion was that a hold was necessary because the courses appeared in concentrations or lists for other departments. These were proposals to remove courses. So I'm wondering whether those have been taken off the table.
Okay, so the first one, Religion 552. The new system flagged Religion 552 as a course that was as an elective, I think, for computer science and engineering, or the computer science program. And when we actually looked at it, Religion 552 was one of basically a broad range of potential liberal arts electives. So after discussing it during the meeting, we decided that there was no need for a concurrence in order to remove that, because it was one of literally, 100 plus potential electives for liberal arts. Which was the second one that you mentioned?
The second one is EMCH 551.
EMCH 551. Yeah, so in that case, it was decided that it didn't need to be put on hold because basically the program that was being removed from as an elective was in was in the same unit, so any concurrences were unnecessary as well.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Hawk. I would have pointed out, in fact, the issue with the computer science and engineering list. I suspect that the reason this was flagged is that that course was the endpoint of a list, so it was a textual match when a search was made.
Yes, no, that's it. I believe that was exactly what happened.
Okay.
Yes.
So
We
thank you.
thought it was rather odd that a religion, I think a Buddhist studies seminar was in computer science, but yeah, that was the course.
Right. I also would like to make a comment. This doesn't require any answer, but I still would like to make a comment of substance. I think it is somewhat odd to me as a colleague that the Bachelor of Science in middle level education does not require any computer science classes, even in concentrations that include mathematics and statistics and science. That's just a comment.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Yankee from International Business. Bill, thanks for all the work. As a point of clarification, as we prepare to vote on this, and looking through the list of proposed changes, I saw only 3 of the many courses and curricula changes that are specifically listed as a change to add distributed learning as a modality to a course. So just for the sake of transparency for everyone, is that accurate? That is to say, our as a matter of procedure, are these kinds of changes that we're voting on, if there's a change in modality of an existing class, does it always go through this process? Or could could some of these courses be offered by distributed learning methods without a formal approval like this?
If a course has not been previously approved for distributed learning, there does need to be a submission through the KIM system, and that goes up through all of the different approval processes, including curriculum courses and the faculty senate. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for the clarity. I mean, in the post-COVID era, right, as we move back into this space, it becomes increasingly important. So thank you for that.
Again, because this is coming from a committee, there's no need for a motion or a second. So we're ready to vote, and we're voting in analog here. So we can do an oral vote. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, these courses pass. Thank you, Bill.
And thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Just one other point of clarification. There is a new system. You might, if you looked at it, you'd see it does look different. We did have some trouble with people getting access to it. I hope you all got the email explaining the process. And one of the key factors is make sure you use all lowercase when putting in your user ID, and you should be able to get to it. And then there was one other point about that, Bill, about what they should.
I think the issue was that if we go to the Google page, then there's drop down menu specifying everything that's going for the full faculty senate. I believe it's in the role of faculty senate officer.
Yeah, so you might have thought you don't belong there because you're not a faculty senate officer, but for the purposes of that system, you're a faculty senate officer. So you should be able to see everything if you use that role. And it is technically called KIM, but we're still calling it apps. So if you get, what is he talking about? It's talking about apps. So we're still using that term, I think. So that's our system, our platform for the course approval process. All right, next on our agenda is a report from the secretary who is ill. So I will do that report for her. We still have some vacancies. And in fact, I think we have a couple more vacancies than we've actually are posting here. We had a vacancy in the bookstore, and we have a nominee for that, Monica Colon Aguirre. I'm sure I'm butchering that name, I apologize. We have 3 for courses and curricula, David Simmons, Brian Habing, and Andrew Corley. The Curricula and Courses Committee was expanded by a modification to the faculty manual last spring. We actually expanded it by 4, so we still have 1 vacancy to put on there. And that is to make the work of that committee lighter. And we also have a half-time administrative coordinator to assist that committee. So if you know anyone or you yourself are interested in getting involved, please let me know. And then we have a replacement in the Faculty Senate IT committee, Jose Vidal. And like I said, there's a couple more probably coming down the pike and at our next meeting. So because this comes from the officer, I don't think it requires a motion. So any discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? It passes. Thank you. And thank you to our volunteers who are stepping up to these committees. I think that gets us to my report. So calling up my notes, apologize. All right, just a couple of points. The first is about our modality. This is an experiment. We are in post-COVID world, so we may not be going back to everything as usual. But as you know, the faculty manual says live or electronic in extraordinary circumstances. So if we want to meet in any kind of other modality or in a hybrid modality, that's something that we need to make a faculty manual change on. So what I would like to do is to just keep track of how things are going for you. And come November, we can make a faculty manual change if it looks like we want to do something different than we're doing. And that would enable us to change that process, our meeting process in the spring semester. So bear with us as we experiment with sort of going back to normal, knowing that nothing is quite where it was before COVID. So let me know how you're experiencing this. One of the struggles for us. Oh, I don't think I've introduced. I apologize. Samantha Clark, would you stand up for a minute? Samantha Clark is our new administrative coordinator, and she and I worked over the summer to try to find a location for us to be face-to-face again. And one of the challenges is, it used to be back in the day we did not have classes on Wednesday afternoons. So we could have Gambrell Hall, we could have Booker T. There's all of these really big classrooms centrally located that are now not available. We just missed Booker T by 10 minutes, which is really a disappointment. So we're going to continue to look for something a little more centrally located, because I think that is one of the issues of being back face-to-face is the pain of actually getting to wherever you're going to, which is a lot harder than staying in your jammies and tuning in to Blackboard, right? So we are going to try to continue to search for a more centralized location. One of the options, the only option that was really viable, was the Russell House Theater that was available, and we got kind of first pick for that. However, it would hold the capacity of the Senate and guests, but it would be tighter. And we didn't feel that at this moment in time, we're comfortable with cheek by jowl seating. So, but in the future, that might be a possibility. So let me know your reactions and your experience as we continue through this semester. I also wanted to announce that we are going to form something called the President's Council. This is at the request of President Emeritus. And this President's Executive Council, excuse me. This is a advisory and communication mechanism that he would like to have that's outside of the formal Senate meetings. So the idea here is that a group of senators or Senate leadership, so that would also include anyone from the standing committees, who would meet regularly with him to discuss issues that are of concern to faculty. And he can share his concerns and ideas and thoughts. And so this would be a regular meeting, and what I'm calling the off cycle. So it'd be about halfway between faculty Senate meetings. So the conversation doesn't have to be about the immediately past meeting or the upcoming meeting. That'd be, purely advisory and communication based. And so the idea that we came up with in discussing this with the steering committee and going back and forth with the president is to have one representative from each academic unit. So that would be all, I think it's 15 schools and colleges and the library. And a couple of officers from the Faculty Senate. So the steering committee is trying to generate a list for you, but we also encourage you as senators to think about who you might want to elect. The election should be by your caucus, by your group of senators. This is not a general election process here because this is a pretty informal role. What we are looking for is, aside from the disciplinary diversity, which will come naturally from having one representative from each unit, is for demographic diversity, and then also some diversity representing tenure track and professional track faculty. All that we really hope for is that you identify people that you consider to be leaders who are really committed, will always show up, prepared, and communicate in an equanimous manner with the committee and with the faculty when they return. So we're looking for people who understand the university, have been here long enough to understand the university, and have the accumulated wisdom that goes along with that, and are people you would consider leaders, really committed to doing service. So think about who you might want to elect as a caucus. You might want to get together with the other senators from your college or school. And you'll also be hearing from the steering committee with some suggestions. And then we would like to actually close on this in about 2 weeks. So I'll send out a reminder about making sure you do this election next week, so we can, end up the week that follows. Hopefully you can come to a decision on your representative to the executive committee. So I think this is great. It's yet another mechanism that the senior leadership of the university is implementing to foster greater communication. Let's see what else. Also just want to talk briefly about my experience with Imagine Carolina. The provost and president invited us to have some of the Senate leadership observe. So Bill Hawk and John, I'm always going to mispronounce his name, Gerdes, from engineering. We went on Sunday morning to observe this process. So the general purpose of this was to cover a couple of themes, 4 themes around their academic experience, campus life, campus climate, and their postgraduate and career preparation. But before they got into those focus group discussions, they had kind of a general meeting where they worked with Huron, basically doing word clouds with this really cool app that not only produced the word clouds, but you could see their writing comments on your version of the app. So that we could see some of the big issues that were coming out that were top of mind. So guess what the most top of mind issue was, the biggest and first? Anybody? Parking is number 1. Big parking, capital letters, parking. So we put that aside because that's what it is. And actually for an urban campus, apparently we have pretty good parking. But then other themes were diversity, that not academic advising didn't come out in our group, and the big word cloud, I think that came out later, but what else? I'm drawing a blank now. Mental health issues, facilities, Wi-Fi. So things that we talk about too. So that was really just sort of to get the issues out there. But then when they went into the focus groups, they discussed these 4 themes in greater depth. It was kind of surprising how little mention there was in the word cloud of that classroom experience, the academics. So apparently we're doing okay, faculty. We did not hear what happened in these focus groups because those were conducted without anybody in them except for note takers. And then that information is being compiled by the administration to feedback, I hope, to us as well as to the students. And I'm very excited to hear that we're going to do something along the same lines with the faculty, and really get a sense of where we are in this post-COVID world. So that was a very interesting experience to go through, and I'm happy we had a chance to participate in that. And then the last thing I just wanted to mention is our parliamentarian, Bill Sudduth, gave a brief description of how we conduct face-to-face meetings, 3D meetings, as one of my friends calls them. And we'll post a little kind of primer on that and put that on Blackboard or on the Senate web page. So just to serve as a reminder. And we'll get the logistics hammered out, like having 2 sign-up sheets outside the rooms, make it a little bit easier for you to sign up. So that's all I have to report. Any questions or comments? Mm-hmm.
Abbas Tavakkoli with College of Nursing. I was wondering about the COVID situation because we're not completely out of it. Some of the senators get positive and they cannot come to face-to-face. I was wondering if we can keep having the hybrid, at least for those who have positive and they cannot come, so to be able to vote, cast a vote.
So to have a hybrid for when people call in sick, or
Yes.
just for COVID, or call in sick in general?
Right, and I think then in November, maybe we decided to go to hybrid, the modality change. So which that way we can get more participation, not just because some people could be at conference, but they want to attend. So those are the things I think we can look at it and have more participation, not punishing people not being able to be face-to-face.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's points taken. We'll weigh those in. I think right now we can't just flip that switch, and certainly with illness or other excused absences, perhaps we need to kind of create some sort of a policy or mechanism for that. But that's useful suggestions. Anything else? Any old business? Any new business? Yes.
Sorry, it's me again. Abbas Tavakkoli, College of Nursing. I just want to bring to attention for our UTS, you mentioned about the student meeting, and especially for those units have online program, and our student, our faculty are dependent support from UTS. Unfortunately, I have several calls for my student, had very bad experience, especially out of when it's outside the work, after 5 o'clock or weekend. And I know we outsources our people, UTS they are wonderful. My interaction with Blackboard people, Mr. Brown, wonderful, quick response. But unfortunately, when you call outside, they sometimes hang on our student, and this is when the due date, the test they're supposed to take. So just want to share that, and maybe the director of UTS, I don't know other unit, they use the online and they have the same experience, but we have several of faculty in nursing had that problem with UTS. So I just want to bring that to attention.
Just for clarification, you mean do it, right? UTS?
Yes, I mean the support they're getting is not quite there as it should be for our student and faculty. I had to call a couple times for my student the problem they had, and that especially when we have the program online completely, and that to me that is red flag. So for our program,
Yeah.
Our nursing program online is #1. That's the way we want to keep it. So we have to keep all the support for our student.
Yeah, I had an issue with that as well. I'm teaching in the professional MBA program, and we are partially online. And when Blackboard goes down for a couple of hours, it makes our students very unhappy. So we do have a standing committee on IT. That's a place to make sure they understand the failures. I don't know if you had an opportunity to look, but they posted their annual report, which includes the survey they do of the faculty and their experiences with the service. So I keep that communication going, but I would encourage you actually to reach out to the chair of that committee. That would also be helpful. Anything else? So do I hear a motion to adjourn? What? Go to the order. Talking. It's just bad.
No. For any senators who came in late, there is a sign-in sheet. It's in the front here. Please make sure you sign in so that we know that you were here, that you don't see the report next month and there's the line under your name that says you weren't here and that you actually made the effort. I guess we will have sign-up sheets on the outside starting next month. And again, a reminder, again, if you were a senator, came in late, missed any of the early introductions, we do want senators to sit up front in the wooden tables here and not in the soft seats. In the future, there is still plenty of room down here for distancing. Thank you.
Sam, do you have someone from?
Yes, I do have a Palmetto senator, Andrew Yingst. I hope I didn't butcher that name. Says, I'd like to move that the executive committee be charged with drafting a motion amending the manual to require hybrid or fully online meetings to be the norm so that the regional campuses are able to share in legitimate participation. We've been able to actually participate in Senate for the last few years, and it feels pretty bad being pushed back out.
Sorry.
And there's a second to that.
All right. As I mentioned, we are going to investigate how this works over the course of the semester, and if we want to make modifications in the modality, that will be something that we will introduce in the November meeting. So thank you for the motion, and we will hold on to that till we get more information. All right, that's it. Can I hear a motion to adjourn? All in favor? Aye. Thank you so much.